Hey gamers, welcome back to another episode of Not About Chemistry. Today, we're going to be talking about internet versus reality. And I'm Nick.
I'm Amy.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Claire.
And now, let's roll the intro.
So to start out this episode, we're going to hit you guys with a Michelle question. Now, this is a little different than the Kyle question because, we're not in chemistry class today.
Today we're in a different location. Today we are in our very own Daniel's basement.
Shay Daniel, let's go.
It's the weekend, so obviously we can't be in chemistry class. And so you'll notice that it's a lot quieter, which honestly could be a really good thing.
A lot less ambient noise. Sorry about that.
So we didn't have Kyle in our presence. So here's the question.
Is there favoritism between siblings, whether it's the oldest versus the youngest, in regards to their birthing order?
To elaborate on this a little bit, we'd like to point out that our friend Daniel here is the middle child of 4, so he's the second oldest. And so if you'd like to kind of explain.
We're all different levels when it comes to siblings.
Birth order.
I feel like it might be helpful if we can put out our point of view.
So Amy, I am the youngest child.
I'm the second oldest, so in the middle.
And I'm the oldest.
And I am a twin, so this should be interesting.
So we actually have every kind of sibling.
Except for only child, so they don't count.
Oh, yeah.
They're not real people.
They're not real, they're fake.
No. So the favoritism from there is that parents don't even like them. So.
Obviously.
So Daniel, what's your take on favoritism in general? Do you think it exists in your household? If so, is it fair? How does it affect you?
So, I think there isn't necessarily, I don't really think that my parents like me or my siblings more than each other.
Okay.
I think it's even, but I think that there is if not unconscious or not even intentional, just in practice, there's a imbalance between who was born first and who was born last. Because as an example, when I was little, my parents said I can't have a TV in my room until I'm paying my own rent. But Matthew, who is my younger brother, he's in 8th grade. He has a TV in his room. So, just throwing that out there,
Right.
Mom.
Okay, so do you think that has to do with anything about experience in parenting? Because being a twin, I don't really see that imbalance. As far as I know in my life, my brother and I have been treated for the most part equally all of our lives because we grow up together. So I'm not very knowledgeable on this, but do you think a reason why that favoritism, quote unquote favoritism, might exist is because over time your parents grow more experience on how to raise their children, and so they learn from trial and error, and so since there's a good 5-year gap between your oldest brother and your youngest brother, that's a lot of time for your parents to know where they screwed up or wherever.
I definitely think so. I think that parents do learn a lot as they go, and this is coming from me, someone who does not have a kid, but I think that parents do learn a lot as they go, but they also learn what they don't have to basically focus on as much. So they get a lot less strict as it goes. At least that's my experience. I'm sure it's different for every household, but I don't know. Amy, you're the youngest, so you might be able to speak to that.
So, me personally, I don't see favoritism in my household. I believe that I get a lot more benefits from my parents than my older siblings do. So, my oldest brother is 20, he's about to be 21, and the brother right below him, the middle child, is turning 20 in December. So even though I'm not young, I am still considered the baby. So I'm cared for a lot more. There's a lot more expected from me because there's the idea that I have to learn from what my brothers did wrong, right? I feel like there's a lot more weight put on my shoulders just to, live up to the expectations that my parents have developed through raising 2 older children.
Would you say there's more pros or cons being the youngest, or how does that balance out?
I think there's an equal balance of pros and cons because
Well,
I feel
to
like
put my perspective in, I mean, I'm the oldest child, so I personally, like, I go through everything like this college process, and it's the first time for me. And so I don't know what to expect. But in 2 years, when my sister goes through this, she's going to have the benefit of knowing what to do and what to expect. My sister and I learned to ride our bikes at the same time. So she learned to do stuff at a younger age than I did. Like, at the same time in our lives, but at a younger age. And, I mean, I feel like there's benefits to being the older child. Like, you get to go out earlier and, like, do stuff like your siblings don't get to do, but you're kind of the experiment child. Like, your parents don't know what to expect.
Yeah, and I don't think that's anyone's fault. That's just how life is. So you can't really like blame one person or one thing on that.
And it's also because parents are going to learn through experience.
Yeah,
they're not going to just like develop this sense that, oh, this is what my kid is going to do, this is how I'm going to raise him, I know exactly what's going to happen. It's that, of course, like Nick said, they're going to learn through trial and error. And, you know, having multiple kids, that's just, you know, that's just how it's going to be.
And, like, I feel like a lot of it is not just individuals in the family maturing, but the family as a whole maturing. Like, the first half of middle school, I wasn't allowed to play Call of Duty because my parents thought it was too violent.
Same here.
But my little brother, I'm going to keep using him as an example, but they were allowed to play Call of Duty at the same time that I was because it's very hard to stop them from doing something that I'm allowed to do in the same space.
And
so,
it's kind of like that with my sister. Like, when I was her age, I wasn't allowed to go out as late as she does now. But since I can drive her and I'm with her, she's allowed to stay out as late as I can.
I have an opposing view of that, actually, because my brothers will be out for, like, really late. But I'm not allowed to do anything. I feel like maybe it's just my family, and it could be other families, but I'm not really sure. There's a lot of protection given to the youngest child, because in my family, I will always be seen as the baby, and nothing's going to change that. Even if I tell my mom, like, I am old, she's like, no. So there are some things that, you know, are hard for me to get, hard for me to get done, because of me being the youngest child and just her being so protective. I think it's because she's learned, obviously, like I said, she's learned from what my brothers have done. And I have developed a sense of purity in my life because I do not want to disappoint my parent, because I don't want her to be like, what did I do wrong in these 3 children? Like, did I do something wrong? So I want to be like the end of it, you know. I want to be like, you didn't do anything wrong, you've been learning this whole time, and we've all grown.
It's a good cap at the end.
Everyone has like their different perspectives on this, obviously, some coming from different areas than others. I want to tie this back to like the central topic of this podcast with internet versus reality. So we've all shown how our parents obviously have an effect on our lives. Our parents' attitudes are reflected inside of ourselves. I think that's evident within like our personalities. So going on to like public personas and like facades in social media, in that same light, how does our relationships with others via social media similar to like parenting?
I can kind of see that, because like if you look at politics or music or anything like that, sometimes it's you're agreeing with your parents because that's how you were raised, but sometimes you're vehemently opposed to get to it because it's what your parents think.
And in the same way, like you're affected by your friends, so every public interaction you have, or like friend group,
or your peers at school,
or any discussion even you have with your friends or an argument, you learn more with that, and you're affected by those views. So I just think it's interesting how like in our world in social media today with technology, it's so easy to get into a debate and like with discord with others. Like I personally think Twitter spawns these irrelevant arguments that get nowhere, and I don't know if that's the best for society. Speaking of irrelevance, in the middle of this podcast, we usually like to include a vocabulary term of the day portion. So Daniel, if you want to hook us up with that.
We got a pretty good one today. Not gonna lie, it's kind of intense. Learned this one in Latin class. Get ready. The word of the day is paraklausothyron.
Okay.
Let that one sink
What
in.
does that mean?
pronounce
Paraclausithyron.
that
Paraclausithyron. Paraclausithyron.
Okay.
Those letters are completely not connected. It sounds like you're just saying random
Yeah,
letters.
like
ZY.
randomly typed in your
Dude,
keyboard.
It's a Wi-Fi password.
It is.
Yeah, but so that word. It's a ancient kind of poem from like ancient Greece and ancient Rome, and it's a love poem where a dude is talking to a door. I'm not making this up.
Okay, so do you want to elaborate a little further?
How?
So that it's just the name of a poem.
It's not one poem. It's like a type of
Collection.
poem,
Oh.
like
where somebody is talking to a door.
yeah, where a dude is talking to a door, and it's a love poem.
Yeah. It's a little
Wow.
freaky.
Yeah.
It gets
That's-
weird real quick.
Salve Yanua.
Solid.
This is why Latin is a dead language.
Exactly.
The doors killed it.
As it should be.
So word of the day: Paraclausithyron. Let that one sink in.
So we just put that in as a break from all the serious
Yeah,
information.
to give you
we're
all a
just
little
giving out.
relief.
Oh, also, before we move on, just a little quick reminder. It's pronounced Neanderthal, not Neanderthal, and Ohio's flag is not flag-shaped.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you for that, Daniel.
That
Now,
was crucial information.
back to the program. Claire, would you like to reference our source for
So
today's
yeah, we're talking about internet versus reality, and I'm going through the college admissions process. I've been admitted into college, looking for a roommate, as you do, trying to live with somebody. So I'm looking through Facebook, and I discovered that all these people are exactly the same. They have this like stock personality that they put out, and here's some qualities that I've noticed. They all like The Office, they all like Friends, and they like Black Mirror. Okay, we get it. These are popular shows. Everybody likes them. It is not a personality
I
trait.
mean, who here doesn't like those shows?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
they appeal to everybody. They're mass media. They're gonna want to go on tailgates and go to football games. Okay, everybody wants to have fun. Okay, everybody wants to go to the football games. You don't have to
Right.
tell me that.
So there's like this generic point of view where like everyone wants to fit in, so they
Yeah.
list the same things, and like
They list
at that point, how do you get anywhere? How do
Yeah.
you choose which one is right? For
They
you?
all say they need a gym buddy. They like coffee, pizza, going on adventures, and naps. I mean, who doesn't? They say they want to rush in the spring for sororities, and a lot of people play lacrosse. Like, I don't get it. We don't have a lacrosse team. I really don't get it. Is it like a popular thing that everybody plays lacrosse?
I think it's also just like our school just doesn't have it, so
Yeah.
it's just really weird.
Just without being too specific, we live in the middle of nowhere.
One high school in our county.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But yeah, so these people have like these stock personalities, like I said before, and they're all kind of the same, and they all kind of blend together.
They also appeal to everybody.
Yes.
Like, there's not one person who... I mean, there's definitely going to be people who don't like The Office, but there's so many people that like that show that nobody's going to just be like, oh, they like The Office? I want to live with them for a
We're gonna be
whole
best
year.
friends.
No, because that's just... You can literally talk about The Office to pretty much anybody.
it's not
Yeah.
risky.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
You're not
it's
gonna
a safe bet.
You're not gonna put on there that like I lost my toe fighting a bear or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, fun fact, I
Yeah, I agree
have
with
one toe, like that kind of
And
stuff.
then
Yeah.
you meet them in real life, and it turns out that they're like a terrible person because they don't put any of those qualities on there.
Yeah.
They put this better version of themselves on the internet.
Yeah. So then that raises the question: how effective is it to put out these stock personalities?
I mean, I think it's effective, but I don't know if it's beneficial. Like
Does it achieve the goal that
I mean,
you
you
intend?
you get a roommate. I mean,
Yeah.
You
There's
get a
that.
roommate, but there's always the second personality, I would say. You know, they put out this like shield so that I don't want you to know anything about me personally, but here's the stuff that everybody likes that I also like, Like
Yeah.
you're going to find out. You're going to get behind that shield and you're going to find out one that they may be like a really great person and you might really like them. Or two, it could go really wrong
Yeah.
and
They just leave their dirty socks
they
everywhere.
leave their dirty socks
turns out they
everywhere.
Right.
snore really loud.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man,
They
didn't
that's
tell
a big
you.
one. Okay, so now we'd like to digress once more.
Welcome to Daniel's poems.
This poem is called Party Mix. I open the crinkly bag, coated in zany, wacky lines. The energetic letters stare back. Bold and bright, it reads, Party Mix. The bright shades of the vessel offend my senses in the sepia room. I gently pry open the bag. The soft smells of artificial cheese drift through the stagnant air. My tired eyes peer into the deep, half-full sack of carbs. I scratch the stubble on my chin before I enter the pit of beige. My ruddy fingers lightly grasp the salty starch in silence and raise it to my cracked lips. I open my mouth without enthusiasm and plunge the product down my throat without emotion or satisfaction.
I enjoyed that. That was really something.
Masterpiece.
Fun fact, I wrote that one in history class while eating a bag of chips.
not even party mix.
Party mix.
No, it was Party Mix. Don't worry, it was
Party Mix, a historic bag of chips.
Sponsored by Utz Party Mix.
Oh,
Sponsored
and
by
now
the
time.
Declaration of Independence.
That reminds me.
Sponsored by Ohio.
Now time for our sponsor portion.
Hi, you probably seen me on other ads before, but I'm here back at you with something special, something we've been cooking up for a while. Did you know that 97% of all people die? Shocking, right? Well, do I have a product for you? Sprite Cranberry. This stuff will get you through anything. Those numbers will drop down to 0 with Sprite Cranberry Round. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thought I might point out that we're now outside. Scene change because it just wasn't loud enough down there.
It's too quiet, man.
Way too quiet. We want the sound of birds.
We want that chemistry atmosphere, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. We're by the pool, we got the water.
You can hear the sound
we
of the
got
Love it.
nature.
This is turning into like an ASMR thing. Let's go.
All right, let's take a moment of silence.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go into what different platforms of social media are being affected by, like image that, the media is putting out. Like I know there's a whole body positivity thing going on, and I don't know if this is what we're gonna go into, but
No, I think this is on topic.
there's a whole body positivity thing where more people who are, let's say plus size, right? They're putting out more information. They're putting out a lot of content like this should all be okay. And this is because the media is portraying like women's bodies, and I don't want this to be political or anything, but they're portraying women's bodies in like an unnatural way,
Right, and the perfect example of this is obviously on social media platforms like Instagram. There was a YouTube video released a few days ago. As of today's the date, May 11th, so that would be May 9th, from a podcaster named H3H3. You should
Fellow podcaster.
You should check him out. You should check him out. He's a pretty cool guy, pretty cool
Smaller
content.
channel we want to promote.
But yeah, he was essentially discussing the matters of how like Instagram and social media play a large role in the depictions of people as not who they are, like internet versus reality. And a lot of these come into play with like their Instagram, the pictures that they edit, or they get professional editors to change their body shape or like the saturation of the color or whatever it may be, add on filters. And it all really comes down to like what's the point of that, of depicting someone who you're not, and why that's a thing and how it affects us.
This also plays into self-confidence and like, what is it called?
Yeah, self-confidence is a big
positivity.
part.
Body positivity, no, but insecurity, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, just as an example, let's say you have a lot of acne, right? You'd want to cover that up.
Yeah,
for,
it makes
an
sense.
Instagram picture.
It makes sense for like a professional photo of you to be taken. It makes sense to get rid of your acne because it makes us all insecure.
So yeah, exactly. What I was saying was like, no, that's one of those things it's natural, but people think that nobody wants to see that. People think that
Society has said, if you have acne, you're ugly. Like, we don't want to see you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's great that a lot of people are coming out and being like, I'm proud of like what I have. Like, I may not be proud of it, but like I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Right,
like-
and that remains the fact of the matter that everyone is human, and acne is just a part of life, and I think it's okay for people to accept who they are instead of constantly feel pressured to change that.
Yeah, something that relates to that is a lot of people have stretch marks, like from growth spurts or if you were pregnant before. And a lot of times people have been like, oh, we don't want to see that, like cover that up, Photoshop it out. But recently people have been like calling them, oh, be proud of your tiger stripes. That's what they call them. And it's helped people, I guess, to realize that it's part of your body and that's just like how you have to accept it, I guess.
Yeah, and like a lot of the stuff that like they don't have the same kind of ideals about like positivity and whatnot. Like it's just unrealistic what people are kind of showing online, and it's not just like, you know, there are definitely people on Instagram who are objectively better looking than me, but like, and that's fine. I don't really care. But like the fact that even that they have to take that and then Photoshop that to make it even more idealized and make it more artificial.
It's just making people insecure by
Exactly.
doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is honestly, I find it sad because like we want everybody to feel like welcome in the media, you know, like everybody to feel like they're comfortable in their own skin. But then when there's people that, you know, constantly edit and then are constantly like in the media who are like, you know, maybe models or something, or they're famous, right? They want to present the image that they are perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, people who are like normal civilians, they're not going to be like, let me get this
Us
professional,
civvies.
yeah, exactly. Let me get this professional picture taken so that I can look really good, and I'm going to spend a lot of money that I don't have, you know.
And I think that they try to make themselves look perfect because they think, oh, people will like me more. But I personally find that if there's somebody that doesn't Photoshop their images or has acne or has imperfections, I find them more likable because they seem more relatable.
Right, more authentic.
Yeah.
I think this has to fall under the category of like the purpose of doing it in the first place in editing, and I think that purpose is because of the social pressures that are acquired. I think the purpose for when people like edit their pictures or videos with filters, it's to make them feel better, but I think in essence it's doing the opposite. It's actually creating more social pressure, I think. And I personally found that I deleted all social media about a week ago, and it was like relaxing for me because I didn't feel like I needed to like constantly update everyone and like my life or give like this false perception of me, and it was relieving, really. So just something to consider.
Plus, no endgame spoilers.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was
But
low-key the intention behind that.
no, but the other one is definitely a good thing.
And this all ties back to the search for a roommate in college because, you know, we're putting all this information out onto Facebook for others to see. Can you elaborate?
Yeah. You're kind of putting out the better version of yourself. I mean, not necessarily better, but the version you want other people to see. You're like,
Exactly.
I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go hang out and party with my friends. But the reality is, you know, you leave dirty socks around the room, like I said before. You're grumpy or whatever, and that's not the real person that you put out there.
And you're only depicting the perfections of yourself, the perfect version of yourself, not the reality. So that's problematic because once you actually get into, you know, the friendship or meet the person that the system says is fit for you, oftentimes it doesn't work out because of what you post on these sites.
Yeah, it's like Thanos said, often reality is disappointing.
Exactly. That is very relevant.
Like Claire was saying before, when she was saying that every single one was the same, I think it's that one, yes, of course we're trying to put out the better version of ourselves, the altered version of ourselves, but I think it's also trying to fit in with the others, which goes back to, you know, going, like, looking at media and seeing stuff that, you know, maybe that you're not, and you just want to fit in, so you're putting out all those traits that other people can relate to so that you can fit in and you can make friends. You know?
Right. A lot of being human is adapting and obviously social interaction. So the more you can optimize that and, you know, become more amicable, admirable, the better.
And if you guys have any opinions about this, put this in the comments section.
Yes, please do.
We want to hear what you guys have to say.
We want to remain fully engaged with our audience.
We want to be globally engaged.
Even if you
so
have
spread this around.
any opinions
Tell
about
your
the
friends.
siblings discussion
Yeah,
too.
spread the word.
Spread the word.
Podcast.
Tell your friends.
By the way, if we haven't mentioned already, sub below. Smash that like button.
And so with that, we're gonna wrap up this episode. We just want to say thanks for watching.
It really means
Thanks
a lot
for
to
listening,
us.
guys.
Yeah.
We love all the support.
Yeah.
We're going to do a shout out at 100 subscribers. So,
Yeah, so-
be the first to sub.
Be the first to sub, and maybe
Proof-
you won't be first. But I mean, it's okay.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We're really growing. So
Yeah.
make sure you tell your parents to listen to this.
Right, so
podcast.
all you-
It's kid friendly. We're not about chemistry. I'm Amy.
Daniel.
I'm Claire.
And I'm Nick.
We'll see you next time.